Okay, folks. I'd say happy Sunday evening, but there is nothing happy about Sunday evening. Only good thing about Sunday evening is it's better than Monday morning. All right, let's get this kind of under order here. Got 3 figures completely done. 1 figure completely done, but the base color on the base painted still needs to be dry brushed. And this other guy, why am I taking my watch off? Jeez. And the other guy doesn't have the base color painted on his base. And we started on this one. But I have a little bit of motivation here before I go to bed and see if we can't push forward. I decided to airbrush the A13 and gave it a strong tone wash. And pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. Notice there's no light blue on here because Counter does not take light blue. Now this is the other one that was a 3D printed one. It's kind of smaller. It's narrower, and they're almost the same, but they're not quite. So I think what I'm going to do is, before I start working on the tank, because I'm going to finish working on the tank, I'm going to go ahead and get Harrison's base color painted on his base. And that is English uniform. And he does have a magnet on there. And we'll see if anybody shows up tonight, Just never know. I can tell you one thing, this brush washer's a hit. That way we can mess with this in the morning if we have some time, because this basing will already be dry. which is you kind of have to have that if you're going to dry brush other layers on top of it. What do I do with it? No, here. I wish I got some kind of a notification when somebody came on, but I don't get nothing. And this color changes a little bit when it dries. Right now it looks a little bit like baby diaper yellow. Okay. You can put this away. I don't know, might be a slow evening. Never know. These are filthy. Okay. So we have this A13 that we did a wash on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to end up kind of doing a dry brush type method, maybe a little bit of wet dry brush over the colors in the areas that we went over. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to need to rinse this one too. These actually hold in here pretty well. I was thinking that wasn't going to work so well. You know, here in the brush washer thing. Okay, so we're going to need this. We're going to go ahead and start with the base color, which is the most annoying one to do because it is a AK. It is a MIG color, which means it's watery. And we're going to have to wipe out a good amount of it on there. Wipe off. We're going to do this one. We're going to do the slate gray and the silver gray. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do the base color. Why did I? Well, I really need to listen to myself here. Let's go and do silver gray. You have to cut these about half, 50% with water to get them to airbrush correctly. But once you do that, they work just fine. But for hand painting, you can just use them directly out of here. And I want to get a brush that is small, but I can kind of, well, I don't think it's here. I don't think it's out here yet. Yeah, something like this one. Something like this one. Honestly, this color looks a bit like what I would call light avocado. Light avocado. Mr. Barnes, welcome, man. Where the hell have you been? Hey, your parole officer's been doing a number on you. How the hell are you? I was wondering if my computer was connected. A while goes by. The other night was crazy. Friday night was just crazy. Like nobody was on. Had a hard time staying on task here. Just a little bit of green on there. I'm sorry, they call it slate gray. Looks like avocado. You've been painting way too much. I don't know if that's a thing. Unless you don't go to work or something like that and you get laid off because you don't show up for work. I'm pretty sure that painting is probably one of the things you should be doing the most of. And the same goes for me. Interesting. Like a long hair that was stuck there. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the slate gray. Probably not going to see a big difference here. You're retired now. Not officially for a few years. Well, congratulations. I hope I can do it one day. Be a real shame if I can't, because I got lots of stuff to do. This is not going to be noticeable, this color. In the front of this turret, in the front of this turret, and then over here. The Hoffman, man. I started painting. I got about half of your figure painted, man. And then we had to go to the desert. The old school crowd, man. It's good. It's funny because this gray has a lot of green in it. It almost looks like dark green. All right, and then we're going to rinse this off, and then we're going to use the Portland Stone from MIG, which is extremely watery. How's your Godzilla project coming out? It's Godzilla! Hurry, send the hospital ship, you know? Maybe he'll get, hungry. He's hungry. He'll sate his hunger. What does Godzilla eat? Radiation? Have you had any more test games? I have not. I'm supposed to have one this weekend coming up. Haven't had a lot of time to be on YouTube lately. No. No, it's supposed to be this weekend. I don't know when it's going to be. Probably Sunday afternoon. My wife is going out of town. And, I can do it if she's here. It's just a lot easier when she's not. And, but I gotta work. We have a full day on Saturday. That's unheard of. So I expect this week is gonna suck. It's gonna be a 6-day week. So, and when the stuff gets really busy, that's when the remnants of the storm are supposed to be over us, which is just gonna be, wet and shit. I built a lot of those 700 buildings. Need to get them primed when you have a chance. Yeah. Yeah, the priming takes a lot longer than it should, but it's important. Practice down here with the landing gear. There we go. Landing gear, running gear. Landing gear on the tank. Yeah, it's for an air tank. There's no low-flying plane coming. This might actually be a waste of time that I'm doing this. Because we have other colors that are gonna go on top of it weather-wise, and you probably wouldn't even be able to notice this, what I'm doing now, but okay, and on the front, we have this fender. Oh, we're having disconnect issues again? Disconnecting the chat. Your friend showed me this pretty cool World War II dogfighting game called Scramble, Battle of Britain. Might be something up your alley. I'll check it out. Did you get to play it? Battle of Britain. And we played the hell out of that Dynamics Battle of Britain flight simulator game. Which we thought had pretty good graphics for the time. Wow. But I'm not a retro gamer. Like, I don't want to play stuff that was, from that has crappy graphics. I've already survived through that. I don't need to relive that. Sharing a screen, run Discord, chilling. Okay, is it a game you can play on a computer, or is it a board game? I'll pull it up here in a second. I was thinking it was like some kind of board game. Oh no, why is this wet? This doesn't need to be wet. It's not paint. Okay. Let's step away from this and see what it looks like. Yeah, we're good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to paint the wheels and the track. So when we go to weather it, you can end up weathering the wheels and track as well. Computer game on Steam. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Scramble, Battle of Britain. One of the few things that I like that early in the war is I don't like anything around that time period, but except, Battle of Britain is cool. I like ship stuff too. I like early war ship stuff, but land stuff, earliest thing I'll do is Africa Corps and, Spring 41. Scramble, Battle of Britain software. 3D airspace. You can play both sides. Oh, so it looks like it's kind of like the card game. It's not like real time, which is good. It's like turn based. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That there's like a free demo out or something like that. We'll have to check that out. Oh, we have another chat disconnect. What the fuck's going on here? It's different for a dogfighting game. Okay. Sounds good. Discord, huh? Yeah, I'm really having fun. I tried joining a Discord group a while ago, and then it was annoying because I couldn't disconnect from it. Discord just doesn't seem like it's very user friendly to me. Or maybe I'm not very user friendly to it. Not about reflexes. It's turn based. Each turn you have to play any maneuvers. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds like a relaxing game. You got to think. I like that. We'll have to check it out, man. All right, let's get the SS Camel Black or whatever the hell it's called these days. German Camel Black Brown. And this is what we're going to paint the tracks in. Let's just get rid of the turret completely. Yeah, I don't do BEF stuff because, there was only 2 weeks. It was only 2 weeks before the Germans invaded and they were like pulling out at Dunkirk. And I do like the way the BEF tanks are painted. I mean, I like them a lot. That two-tone green or the green and the black. Almost like this. Almost like these two colors here. Pretty cool, but... Let's use this one right here. Yeah, this ball washer works really well. Oh, man. The brush washer. The brush, actually, technically, it's a brush dryer. My friend, and I hope they extend the game past Battle of Britain. Well, it's one of those Kickstarters. You gotta hope they finish the Battle of Britain stuff first before it goes any farther than that. I've seen so many Kickstarter things that just don't take off. I'm sorry, I said Kickstarter, I mean whatever it's called, the early access. Problem with an early access game, and I've bought a couple of them, is there's almost like a 50-50 chance that they don't finish it. And even though you get to you do get to play it before it's released. Sometimes by the time it's released, you don't even want to play it anymore. You play the demo so many damn times that you don't want to have anything to do with it. You've been screwed on early access game, have you? Well, generally, the early access isn't really a screwing because you get it at such a freaking discount. So you just kind of have to go with the idea that, look, all I'm going to get is this demo. Is it worth paying the $5 for it instead of, whenever the game comes out at 50 or whatever? The sand skirts here. So after we're done with this vehicle, we only have the M10 and we've got all the 3D prints painted, which means I will allow myself to order more. What's going on here? Why am I getting paint on places that I never get paint on? Okay, that side's painted. So now we'll go over the other one. And these vehicles, these cruisers were famous for like throwing their tracks and stuff. You know, they didn't work really well in the desert. The desert stuff really the desert ground really messed their tracks up. I'm trying to think what I played early access. Mm. There's a game that's called Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, and when it came out, I mean, the game's beautiful. You could build your own battleship, and you know not something I'm really interested in. But you could like this. It doesn't like really come with any ships. I know that sounds weird, but building your own ships is kind of a part of it. And did I mention the game is beautiful? The game is beautiful. I don't know that you have a lot of things to do when you're playing the battle. You don't have a lot of like meaningful choices to make. I mean, you could, but it's not like you can range estimate or anything. So, yeah, the game came out in early access, and by the time they released it, I don't want to play it anymore. You know, I've moved on, but I didn't spend a lot of money for it. I'm $20 maybe. You know, watched anything good lately? Well, you haven't been here in a long time, so let me recount. I don't know if we talked about this, but I actually found a movie that was I suggested. This was probably a couple months ago, maybe 3 months ago. That I had saw the demo for it, and I thought, you know, this might actually be a good movie. And you know what? It actually was a good movie, and that was Sicario. Um, and I don't know if we've talked about that since. It's been a little while, but I did see that. Um, I watched it with my mom and my brother, and I think I enjoyed it more than they did. But it was pretty decent. Um, you know, as far as movies go. Um, what did I watch? Oh, that comedy that my wife and I were watching, and my daughter too, but she had to go back to college. That was really, really funny. It's an Amazon one. I think it's an Amazon one, and it's called Dinner with the Parents. That's pretty funny. Apparently, it's a spin-off of a British series, but I don't have the access to the British one. I can't see it, but I did see the American one. I believe it's on Amazon. It's pretty funny. 10 episodes. Um, a lot of over the tops get themselves in situations that they just make it worse and worse and worse and worse by lying. You know, what else have I seen recently? Unless I'm watching television with my daughter or my wife, I don't volunteer to watch television. It's too not interactive. You know, yeah, it's really good. Yeah, the drug cartel one. Yeah, um, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it has the filming style really similar of real similar to Modern Family. Um, Other than the one part where they're like talking to the camera, it doesn't have that. But the filming style is a little is reminiscent of that, which I think is a good thing. Um, yeah, it's really give it an episode, and then you'll be like, because first it's like, man, a bunch of dorks. This is not very good, and then it just comes together. Because basically the recipe is like there's got different plot lines going on, and they're all like end up like going on a collision course. There's some pretty good characters in there. Um, I think it's worth watching. I think it's worth watching. Um, yeah, sometimes you just got to give things episodes. Sometimes it's a win, and sometimes it's not a win. I mean, I've seen some comedy things that there's a lot of comedy I just don't care for. Okay, and then there's some comedy that has been really really funny. I got into a couple of years ago watching Community, and the first, I don't know how many seasons there are, say seven. Other than the last season, it's pretty solid throughout all the seasons. You got to give it like a little bit to get it going, but man, once it gets going, that's a funny show. That's a really really funny show. So, um, yeah, there's one episode in particular that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Oh man, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I like comedy, but we got to find comedy that all we all kind of like. We all kind of like the same type of thing. So you know, I prefer comedy that doesn't have laugh tracks too. You know, and that one does not. But I thought that show was pretty good. Have I seen anything else? Um, I tried to watch a couple things with the daughter, and I was falling asleep. I'm just too. I'm too old to be starting things at like 8 o'clock at night. I got to start like earlier than that. I got to start earlier than that. Your girlfriend and I watched this one alien movie called Under the Skin. It was okay to meh. I think people enjoy it because that Scarlett Johansson girl's nude. She doesn't do anything for me. And don't take this the wrong way, but she probably has a deeper voice than you. You know what I mean by that. She doesn't do anything for me. Doesn't do anything for me. So, and I think it is an important part of my captivation. That I don't mind seeing stuff if the actress is cute. Under the Skin alien movie. Well, I still think the best alien movie of all time, well, that I've seen, but I'm not saying a whole lot, was the original Alien. I thought the Alien was excellent, and I think it holds up well. Other than that one scene towards towards the end of the movie where she's got a call for help and she's in that little control room, communications room, or whatever. That's pretty small. It's like half the space of size of this room, and there's all these lights flashing constantly, like the original Star Trek. Other than that, the rest of it's pretty solid. It's a movie very similar to those alien movies. Species, haven't seen them. She might. You don't have a deep voice. Well, I didn't mean to call you out, man. I'm just saying. Hey, your girlfriend likes it. That's all that matters, right? Hey, man, don't make fun of my voice. Oh man, yeah, she didn't do anything for me. I don't hate her. It's not like, oh man, she's in this movie. I don't want to see it. That would be Julia Roberts. I don't want to see Julia Roberts in anything. Now, most people I'm kind of ambivalent about. If you got a strong reaction to somebody, it's like, God, who's the girl I can't stand watching? But yet I watched several pieces of the Oh, yeah, but I think she actually did a good job. Homeland, Claire Danes, and she just does not do anything for me, never has. But she is plays that neurotic character really well. Um, I got through like 5 seasons of that. It was actually pretty decent. Had some pretty decent twists in it too. Watch Without Warning 1994, the most realistic alien movie I've seen. It's filmed as if you're watching a news program, like a mockumentary. All right, let me get my notepad. We got notepads now. I found them. I always had them. Well, I found them and now I've apparently lost them. Okay, we'll write this on here. Yeah, the last movie I watched was a recommendation. Actually, lots of people have recommended this movie and couldn't believe I hadn't seen it. And I finally sat around and watched it the last time the wife went out of town. Not because it's a movie that I can't see with her around. It's just it's the Doctor Strangelove, and I thought it was a waste of my time. You know, without warning. I'm gonna put here Samatobin without warning. I take it 1994 is the year it's from. Okay, we'll do. I'll give it. I watched. What's the one that's filmed that way? Well, that one's filmed like a VCR. That's no, it's not Blair Witch. That I've seen. The Godzilla movie, whatever it's called. Cloverfield. Cloverfield. I honestly thought it wasn't that bad, except for people's reactions. That's the problem with those type of movies with a monster. People don't react like they should be able to react. Like they see something like that, and first of all, you should freak out and be like, hey, it looks like a big dinosaur. Not like not using any of those descriptors. Like somehow dinosaurs are like, copyrighted or some shit. Um, but yeah, alien movie, huh? You believe in aliens? Like I'm not talking about like outside life, but I'm talking about like things that could come in the movie or whatever. 'Cause I think that do you have to believe in aliens to enjoy alien movies? I don't believe in aliens. I'm not. I don't sit around and think about, man, they could be coming down on a flying saucer. I'm like, I just, you know. I mean, when I see one, when I get prodded in the ass, then I'll probably go, yeah, maybe I believe in them. Then it's not a question of faith, but I'm of little faith, so uh, I don't worry about those type of things. But I wonder if people, like alien movies that are. But if you let's say you believe in aliens and they do an alien movie, there's a good chance you don't enjoy it because that's not how you think aliens are going to be. So now you got, yeah, it's got aliens in it. I'm into aliens, but I'm not aliens like that. So did we get the? We needed to get the front of the track. Front of the track. So yeah, I'm not into aliens. So speaking of aliens type of thing, I came across a discussion by accident. Don't know where it was. It might have been on Reddit. It wasn't a pissing match on Reddit. It was just a thread on a modeling website, and it was somebody that had posted a picture of, look at this model kit and all of the warnings. And basically, the model kit would depicted some U.S. soldiers offering cigarettes to these what's the correct way to call them? Child soldiers from Africa. Okay, there's another name for them, but child soldiers from Africa perfectly describes what they are. You know, 13. Beast of no nation type of thing. And there was all these warnings on there, about this does not condone this type of thing, and it's against the Geneva Convention and all this stuff. And it's just a model kit. And somebody's comment, I was looking at reading the comments, was said like, yeah, they have all these warnings because they don't want to get sued, like Ravel got sued for putting the Honubaru or something like that. I'm like, what the hell is Honubaru? So I had to look it up, and apparently Honubaru, or I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's basically the German, you know, uber weapon of making these flying saucers to go to Antarctica and the secret Nazi base and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, what? I mean, so apparently they made some model kit about that, and somebody tried to sue them because for whatever reason, they didn't like it. I mean, it's just a friggin' model kit. But there's a manufacturer, I don't remember which one, that actually makes figures for this Antarctica secret base German stuff. I mean, I won't buy them. I'm not interested in that crap. It's just make believe. Those guys couldn't even get freaking fuel. They couldn't even fuel their tanks and logistics. They had too many problems. Why would they be making this Wunderweapon? And besides, it's silly. About aliens and monster movies creep me out more than most horror movies. What is a monster movie that creeps you out? I'll tell you what creeps me out. And this movie sucked. But there's one of these things that sometimes the anticipation of something just makes you sit at the edge of your seat. Even if it ends up being like a non-event. And the example I like to use is 2001 Space Odyssey. 2001 Space Odyssey is not really I would say, a scary movie. But there's times, if you don't know what's going to happen, you're sitting at the edge of your seat like, because the filming style is so freaking weird. Because, Kubrick is so freaking weird. And the way that he films, well, he might be weird in real life too, or was real weird in real life. But regardless, I was, there's a couple scenes in there. The scene, I'm sure you've seen 2001: Space Odyssey, and hopefully this isn't a spoiler. So, Signs, I haven't seen that. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Is that when? Is that the one that I see dead people? Or am I getting? Oh, that's Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense. But there's that scene where towards the end of the movie where the alien is sitting at a table and he's eating a meal, and I'm just expecting something to go sideways, and it never does. But I'm like, I don't think Signs is scary, but I like the build up. Okay. I don't know if I could have watched The Village. If I would know what was happening, I don't know if I would have been able to watch The Village with the scary costume. Um, Once I knew what was happening, I'm like, I gotta see this, and that movie would have been a mind fuck for me because I don't try to figure things out while I'm watching a movie. If it's a movie that I have to figure it out, it's different. But I'm just along for the ride. And I don't put too much in advance. Now the girls will try to figure things out in ahead, and they do a pretty good job of it. But I'm just kind of along for the ride. But man, that movie would have just blown my freaking that would have just blown my mind. Um, Monster movies. What's a monster movie I've seen? What, Werewolf in London? Um, that's a really dated movie by the time I saw it, but that's some really good special effects for its time. What a monster movie. Oh, So I don't know what it's called, but it was a movie. One my favorite monster of all time is a minotaur, and there was a new minotaur movie that was done probably within the last 15 years, which sounds like a long time ago, but so it's a modern movie. And the movie sucked, but man, the anticipation of seeing that, it is just a scary damn thing. Yeah, I remember playing, what was that, Assassin's Creed, and there was a Minotaur in there too, and I'm like, go around the corner. My hands were fucking sweating. My feet were sweating. I'm not cut out for this. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, um, I think we need to weather it before we do anything else. So I'm going to grab sand, which is just dark sand, and we're going to try to rub almost all this damn dark sand off that we can. And then we're going to give it a dry brush of it. Yeah, Minotaur is definitely my favorite monster. The classic monster. Yeah. And I saw the werewolf movie probably 10 years ago. Something like that for the first time. When those movies came out, that's like a 1981 movie. I'm like 10. Who am I going to see that movie with? I don't have any older siblings, you know. My parents were pretty strict on what I watched on television. I could have all the violent toys I wanted. That wasn't an issue. But, you know. All right, this is dark sand. And we're going to let's take a dry brush that's this one should do it. Except it's catchy. And I don't mean that in a good way. Oh, stop falling out when I pull something else out. That's a dick move. Grab one thing and something different falls out. Hey, what about me? Get the fuck back in there. There we go. And after this we do the black lining. The pin washing, sorry. Sorry about that. Let's look it up. Monster movies. Scariest monster movies. And I probably haven't seen most of these. The Thing. The Thing sucked. I'm sorry. I like Kurt Russell. The Thing sucked. I remember watching it and I'm like, it's fucking invisible. I'm like, The Thing sucked. The Babadook. Not watching that. Tremors. Tremors ain't scary. Somebody was on here the other night and said it was scary. I don't remember it being scary. The Mist, Hellraiser, haven't seen any of them. The Descent. I saw one of those previews. I'm like, I don't want to see that. That's nothing good is going to come from that. Halloween is not a horror movie, but Halloween scared the crap out of me when I was like 10. It was more like 13. I shouldn't have been watching that. Poltergeist, never seen it. Lots of people swear it's the scariest thing they've seen. I don't believe in ghosts, so I don't know, but it puts ideas in your. It doesn't matter whether you believe in things, it puts ideas in your head, and then all of a sudden you're worried about stuff you normally wouldn't have been worried about. So I'm not interested in that. The Shining, that's not a monster movie. And also a colossal waste of time. Annihilation is a monster movie. You know, as much as I like What's Her Face, and the fact that it supposedly takes place in Florida, I couldn't watch more than 15 minutes of it. Yeah, I saw Tremors way back in the day. Probably the only one. Poltergeist sucks, yeah. Yeah. You know, monster movies, when I was a kid, everybody raved about Cujo. Cujo was the movie. You know, we're talking like 1982. You know, which none of those kids should have been watching Cujo to begin with, but you know, older brothers and so forth. I know so many people that are into horror movies. I'm okay with monster movies. Horror, I don't want to see horror, man. It like puts bad ideas in your head. It disturbs me that they're like, hey, let's put a pretty girl that didn't deserve to die. And it just not only is she gonna die, she's gonna die in a grisly manner, and they're not gonna find her. Yeah, it's just like it just I don't know. Maybe I'm too chivalrous for that bullshit. But you know, I'm just not buying it. I don't like that kind of stuff. You know, I really don't. I love people getting hacked to bits and revenge being done on them when they deserve it. But just innocent bystanders because they're cute, no. I'm not signing up for that. That just bothers me. Exorcist, waste of time. Krampus, I actually saw that, and the world's worst actress is in that. Toni Collette. She is absolutely torrent, torrentially bad. Um, I don't know why I sat through it. I guess I was fascinated by seeing it. It was there any tie-in with the mass festival they do in Germany? You know that thing that those crazy Germans do that wouldn't fly here in the U.S. There'd be some there'd be some heads on there'd be some horned heads on pikes. Poltergeist sucks. Worst, most hyped movie I've ever watched besides The Big Lebowski. So, I didn't see The Big Lebowski until probably 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And I like Jeff Bridges. I'd say I like Jeff Bridges a lot. Just, it's not a terrible movie. It's just not like, it could have been better, you know? Um, it could have been better. The Omen, I remember seeing the first one. It, don't need to see that. I'm not scared of clowns. Clowns are, you know, the witch. I'm not watching anything with a with the goat head thing on the cover. Nope, not going there. See, I wouldn't call these monster movies though. Yeah, I don't want to watch any of this stuff. There's a video game. There's a video game. I'm watching the demo um, on YouTube. I had to turn it off. It was so effing scary. I can't imagine playing that game. And it was called. What was it called? It was so fucking scary. I couldn't watch somebody else play this game. Um, Scary video game. Nope, not Silent Hill. Nope, 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 not that one. Not that. Nope. No, I'll know what it is as soon as I see it. The Evil Within. Fuck no, I ain't watching that. Absolutely not. That was no. Mm-mm. No. I don't see how people can I don't see how people can play stuff like that. I don't see how people can play stuff like that. That is a horrific experience. once we figure out what kind of markings we're going to do on this thing, yeah, we'll have to go over it again, but just over the markings part. Yeah, the evil within. I have this video. I have one of those things. What do you call those VR things, right? My wife got it for my daughter and I 4 years ago. Well, there's very few games that you can actually play on those things, so it pretty much sits unused. But I did get one that I thought was a really good video game, and it's a Walking Dead type thing. But the game freaking cheats. Like you go in on this level, and the game is really stressful because first of all, it's in your face. There's not a whole lot of jump scares, but you have to get weapons and you have to create weapons with tape and a piece of stick, and you get enough of these things, and you go back to your base, so to speak, and you can build a bat. And then you can use the bat to bash in zombies or a knife or whatever. Well, the problem is that nothing is repairable. So you build this weapon, it will fall apart on you by clubbing zombies. Now, how many zombies you can club with it depends on the weapon. But let's say you buy the basic baseball bat, you'd probably bash in like 6 or 8 zombies, and that weapon's no good. So you got to carry that with you, and a knife, and knife maybe only lasts 4. So you have to constantly be finding new weapons. So there's there's a finite amount, and it's just really, really stressful. So you've got all that stuff going on. So you're like, all right, we've got to go in. Oh, and there's a time thing, because if once a new day comes, you have a certain amount of like time that's constantly running. Otherwise, nightfall happens or something, and then you can't be in that environment. You basically have to go back to your little base, your little safe house. So you got all those stress type things going on. Plus you're trying to rescue some people, get other weapons and stuff. But I don't care what weapon you got. If you got a pistol, for instance, okay, you need ammo for the pistol, but also the pistol's going to fall apart. So you have to constantly be finding new thing. So you're going down and you're grabbing the thing, and it's actually really immersive. Like, you actually have to, reach down and grab things, and, you put them in your backpack. So you're doing all these actions all the time, and you're very immersed. And the problem with being very immersed is, you feel like you're there, and it's scary when something gets in your freaking face. And you can't find the freaking bat that you're supposed to have, or you can't find your backup weapon because the one you were using just fell apart, and so you go on this level, like you go and maybe you take a little boat to, it's all in New Orleans, that's supposedly flooded. So you say you take this little sampan type boat to this next area where you're gonna go. And you get off. So you're like, all right, cool. There's nothing behind me. All right, so you're walking around. All right, you're making sure that nothing can be behind you, so that you can focus on your attention, because you don't want to be surrounded. And the fucking game will cheat. Like things will appear behind you, and there was no way they could have gotten you. And it's like, I just had too much. I mean, I can't play this anymore. I mean, it's stressing me the hell out. I don't know how people can play stuff like that, but it is a really good game. I don't think a lot of those VR things, if you watch a video of people playing them, I don't think it does justice. They look better wearing the thing than they do in the video. But that's just a lot of stress, man. That's like, I don't need that kind of, I don't need that in my life. What did I do wrong? But it is a good game. But man, the fact that the durability on these weapons is so dramatic. You're not bashing 40 zombies, and I'm like, you're only bashing a few, and then so you got to have like backup plans, and like, okay, give me a second to recalibrate, and yeah, I'm not a fan of those things games where you're constantly, so something like Battle of Britain that's turn-based, excellent. The bad thing with the turn-based game is sometimes you get bored and you fall asleep, but you know what, that's no stress. But I actually tried to play a video game the other day, and I realized I can't play a video game with glasses on anymore. I basically have to have my contacts in and wear readers. because I got to get a new prescription for my actual glasses. I can't see it clearly, you know. So the fruits of getting older. This thing actually has excellent detail. I used to play a game like that, but it had dinosaurs instead of zombies. Hmm. Like Turok or something like that? I've never played Turok, but I know of it. Hell, I don't think I've ever even said Turok before. Yeah, I'm really not into zombies. The thing about the zombies I think that makes it interesting is that you basically have a world where there's no rules. So you have to kind of make them up as you go, you know? Um, just got back from Houston today and pretty exhausted. All right, man. Well, thanks for stopping by. I'll check that recommendation and see if it doesn't scare me too much. Hey, I'm not afraid to say I'm scared of stuff, you know? I'm not 10 foot tall and bulletproof. I know lots of people that are into horror movies, and the vast majority of them will not do roller coasters, which is, something pretty freaking mundane as far as I'm concerned. People do coasters because they're fun, not because they're freaking scary. I guess. I mean, that's why I do them. Let's get this almost all off. Lots of rivets. So apparently rivets were a problem because if they snapped off and went inside the turret, it would be like a ping pong ball, putting a hurting on anybody inside. Ark Survival. Okay. I've heard of it. I haven't played it. I have not. I have not played it. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and do the black. Man, it got warm all of a sudden. The black pin washing. Because it don't look like much right now. It really needs that black to make it go, just in your face. Now, I do need to find where the old Nuln Oil is. It's the better one, and it's the one that I like to finish off before we're going into the other ones. And let's go ahead and rinse this. Rinse it in the ball washer. The what? All right, let's see where the... There we go. Let's take the turret off. It's easier to work in two different sections like this. Oh, I never painted the tires. Yeah, no big deal. We'll do them later. Nothing's a problem. I think I need to actually pull some of this out. And then it's easier to. Let's get this away from my figures that I just painted that I really like. Let's not leave that to chance. That's just going to create a bunch of extra work for me if something goes sideways. And a lot of people use the Tamiya panel liner. I have that too, thinking it was some kind of miracle thing. And it doesn't behave any better than this. And now I gotta worry about cleaning the brushes, whatever. I don't want to give this thing a clear coat just to get the other thing to run smooth on it. I've been very happy with this. With this water-based Nuln oil. Tried the reformulated Army Painter washes yet? I have. Reformulated? I don't. I don't know that they have been reformulated. I switched to Army Painter because the reformulated Games Workshop one sucked. So yeah, I use Army Painter all the time. Um, I really only use one to cover and I used it for this one. You know, this is the core color on this one is Ammo Mig Portland Stone, or their Portland Stone equivalent, but the AK third generation for the other two tones. And then I covered the whole thing in strong tone from Army Painter. I have lots of these. I have like 5 or 6 of them. I don't know that it's been reformulated since this one. I hope not. Like, dude, like stop moving the football, you know. But the reform, I was using Agrax before, and the Agrax got turned sticky, you know. I don't hate Games Workshop. They just do they do things, and I'm sure other companies do them as well, that just aren't in my best interest, you know. They've changed them recently. Army Painter? I hope not, because people gotta stop moving the football. I don't know if that's a saying that you gotta. If you guys have that saying there across the pond, but like, man, just stand still. But I did pick up a couple of rust colors. So rust like they're still browns, you know, just to put drippings, as I call them. And I actually really enjoy doing this part, you know, because I'm enjoying all of the handiwork that the whoever designed this particular model. I have to go over every single nook and cranny. So I'm like, you know, I'm like somebody that's reading all the words and footnotes in Braille. You know, supposedly better. Well, I don't dislike this one. Um, But this is still the original Nuln Oil. It's no good anymore. Well, not no good anymore. They don't make this one anymore. I do have the dark tone for when that runs out. So let's see if it says what year this is. Mixing balls included, right? Sometimes it'll say what year it is, and you can kind of figure out if it's how old it is. It does not say on there. What about these? Doesn't say. I don't really care for their paints. With that said, I used one on some of these figures. They just behave weird. Um, and but their washes are, you know, I like them. I just don't see any point in using anything that's not. You can't clean the brushes with water. Vallejo also reformed, yeah, and their new bottles suck. These new bottles are terrible. They feel like they're half as thick. I don't know if the paint's any different. I think it is, and not better different. Um, I don't dislike Vallejo at all. Cote d'Armes is still my favorite of all of them. I can't walk into a store and get them. And a lot of my World War II figures, my Germans in particular, were all painted with Games Workshop paint or Cote d'Armes paint way back when. see if we can make it to 9:30. All right, I'm actually going to stop for the night. I'm falling asleep. I've been up for a while, but appreciate you guys coming by. Welcome back, Barnes. Good to have you back. And we'll pick this thing up along with these desert rats. In particular, this guy. Cameron is the guy, the sculptor of these Airfix figures. Don Cameron, something like that. And I've been extremely impressed with his castings. I've had these guys since 1981 or something, since I was a kid. I mean, I'm telling you that this doesn't. It actually looks better in real life. But the face, I mean, they're really, really good. I just hope that the paint sticks on them. I'm gonna be really careful with them, but I've been really happy using these soft plastic figures. I mean, it's like news to me that's even a possibility to be used. So, but we'll finish up Mr. A13 next time, and we will catch you guys on the next one. You guys have a good night. Bye bye.